Hey, it's Mother Funny Time with Andie and Angie.
2 cousins, 8 kids, 1 grandkid, 2 states.
And a whole lot of fun. Woo! Welcome back, Mother Funny Tribe. Here we are with Andie and Angie, and we have a surprise today.
Surprise!
You can see us.
Yay!
Yay! Lucky you.
You know, you're as excited as we are.
This is our first time attempting a video podcast to keep up with the kids, to keep up with the youth.
We've talked about doing this for a long time. Like, we've talked about doing this since the beginning. It just never happened. And so we decided to do this today. And just so everybody knows, I usually am not this yellow. Like, this is lighting. That's what's happening.
She looks great. She looks great. Here, I'll change I have a light right here. I'm going to see if I can change it to yellow.
Usually.
But first, talk about, look, there's a Braveheart poster, which I know we've mentioned in the past.
Okay, so I'm recording in Ryan's office, and his office is also in our media room. Yeah, you're not yellow. You're just a typical color.
No, I tried.
Thanks for trying to make me feel better.
That's as yellow as I get.
I'm just jaundice Angie today. That's all I am. Just jaundice.
Janji.
Yes.
Janji.
I'm Janji, yes. I am Janji coming to you in Ryan's office, which is also the media room. That's why there's a screen right here. It's a huge giant screen. And in his office / media room, there's all these posters, and this is Braveheart right here. We have Joe Dirt is back there, and Happy Gilmore, and Top Gun Maverick. I obviously did not choose any of these posters. Like, this is really a Ryan's man cave situation, which I'm recording in.
I suggested Barbie, getting a Barbie poster for Motherhood Funny. Mother Funny? For the Motherhood of Funny podcast that we're doing.
Yes, I think Barbie would be good. I just have to get Ryan on board with that. I think we could, like, switch them in and out, do something. Even maybe put some Barbie, like, figurines right here instead of, what is that, Star Wars?
Star Wars. They look like Legos.
Yes, they're Star Wars Legos. So it's a whole new situation for us recording. Normally, you guys don't get to see all this amazing decor in the background.
And if you're just listening, I bet you could just picture it in your mind if you're listening on just the podcast. Also, I have a dog in my husband's office. That's George. George likes to join us.
And he is the cutest dog.
That's all I've got.
He is the best named dog. Like, if there was going to be a dog with a perfect name,
George.
It's George.
Yeah, he's a good one. So, but what is appropriate about us being on screen today is our topic. What are we talking about?
This is something that affects so many moms, and it affects, obviously, so many kids. And today we're talking about influencers. And hello, guess what? I learned a new term: skinfluencers. Yes!
Skinfluencers.
And then there's kid influencers. Obviously, there's teen influencers. There's so many different types of influencers. I think we need to come up with our own name. Like, mom influencer sounds so boring. But I think as we talk about this,
Mimfluencer. That's how
I'm
my
going
mind
with
works.
jaundice influencer right now.
And gender influencer.
But we really have to come up with a new term for mom influencer, because that just sounds lame. I mean, if you have skinfluencer, we have to have a better one for mom influencer. So we decided to talk about this.
No. Infantfluencer.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know. No, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I've let you all down. And celebrities and influencers, and how they affect our children, how they affect everything. And I feel like one of the things that led to this is thinking about current events, what's happening right now and what's in the news right now. And what's in the news right now? I mean, we're not going to talk politics because we don't talk that on our show. We don't. Though that could be really funny if we could get people from all sides.
It would not work out. We don't talk about politics.
Okay, but besides that.
So we don't talk about
No. Trump and Biden or no.
Voting day.
No. when it is voting day, and I'm getting my sticker on my shirt. Okay, that didn't rhyme. But right now, besides politics, what's big in the news right now is Taylor Swift and Travis and football. And everyone's got opinions. And a lot of young girls, for some of them the first time, are really interested, and older, and women as well, are becoming more interested in football because Miss Taylor. So that has caused just her being there. She hasn't even done anything but show up to the games. Like, she hasn't said anything much. They maybe talked a little bit in interviews about her relationship, but really, she just shows up to the games, and it's caused
She's
this
even
huge,
said she doesn't know when they're showing her, right? Like, she's just watching the game, having a good time, cheering. So she doesn't know when the camera is on or off her. It's not like she's playing to the camera. I mean, she's just enjoying the game. I think that is part of it, is because she is having fun and like cheering on her boyfriend. It is fun to see someone having a good time. I mean, his brother was at one of the games, and like the brother like didn't have a shirt on for some reason, but he was having so much fun. Like him watching his brother was also fun to watch. His shirt. Like, he was having the best time. And then he even, like, there was a girl holding a sign. Did you see that? This little girl's holding a sign. So the brother went out and like got the girl. Yes.
And he like cared. So yeah, I enjoyed how like the brother took over the news cycle for a minute when he took off his shirt and for a second. But I think as moms are seeing this like young woman who literally is like just being somewhere. She's just being somewhere, and it's causing all of this because she plays music and people love her music, right? And love her music. And I've heard like two sides of it. Well, I've heard a few sides, I would say. One of the sides was, she's ruining football because now everything is about her, which I can see that's frustrating. But two, I'm also seeing a side where like now we have a whole new demographic coming to games, interested in football, learning about football. And I even heard this one dad say, I've not gotten to like enjoy football with my daughter until this year, and for the first time she's interested, and we're going to games together, and it's like
football just really brings everyone together. And then you add Taylor Swift, and it's just next level is what it is. Well, did you hear Travis Kelce? His jersey sales went up 400% once he started dating Taylor Swift. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. Girls are wearing the cute jerseys. Jerseys are selling.
It's true.
Travis Kelce's happy. Taylor's happy. I mean, I think we should just celebrate. Everyone's happy. We don't need to judge her. We don't need to be upset about her. Taylor Swift does not need any more publicity. Like, this is not a publicity stunt. Like, she's okay.
And she's really not trying. She's not trying.
She's good.
She's literally going to a football game and trying to watch it and cheer on her boyfriend, which is a very normal, average thing. Celebrities are just like us.
Just like us.
They go to games and watch their boyfriends.
Just like us.
It just made us think of, the way celebrities are plastered all over the news cycle, all over TikTok, all over everything. And on top of that, now we have influencers, which for kids, I would say are even more prominent in their lives or more influential in their lives than, say, just a celebrity. Unless you're Taylor Swift. I don't know. She's got a huge following. But how it affects everything and everyone around us. So yeah, we're going to talk about parenting and influencers.
Don't you remember, though, going back? Like, I was trying to think of when I was younger, like, who impacted me or who did I really look up to? I mean, it was like Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. I mean, until the whole accident.
How did that work out?
Well. Not well. Not good. But I survived. It's okay. We have forgiveness in our heart. Hopefully Tanya Harding's doing good, doing well. Nancy Kerrigan,
hoping
she
for
seems
her.
to have gotten through it.
Hoping
but
for
also,
her.
Like that was the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson whole phase. And do you remember, going back to football, do you remember when Jessica Simpson was dating Tony Romo? And she would come to the games?
Yes.
And if he started to do bad, they would
Yeah.
blame her as if it was her fault that he was doing bad.
Yeah.
One time he even, like, had a hurt finger and he, like, wrapped up his finger after the game, but instead of them blaming, like, "Oh, he has an injury on his finger," because he's the quarterback, they blamed her as if she was a distraction or, "Oh, he was caught in her beauty and he kept looking up and looking at her and she's so beautiful and she distracted him." I mean, come on! Really?
It's all the girl's fault.
Really?
You know what's also interesting, and this it just popped in my mind, is that Simone Biles, speaking of gymnasts, or not the Olympics, not Nancy Kerrigan is not a gymnast. She's an ice gymnast, but the land gymnast, Simone Biles, is married. Speaking of gymnastics, I'm always have my mind in gymnastics. Just kidding. She's married to a football player, and she shows up, but they don't give as much attention to Simone, even though she is just amazing gymnast, and she might be in the Olympics this summer.
That's a really good point.
I haven't heard
I
either
don't know
way.
why she doesn't get
Yeah.
nearly the attention. Because she's clearly known around
I
the
think
world.
singers. Yeah, she's superhuman. Like, what she can do is crazy.
All right, so there's some injustice for Simone that we need to talk about right now.
Justice for Simone.
Who's her husband she's married
Our whole
to? We need to get
podcast.
his jersey.
I don't even know. That's the problem. I am part of the problem. I don't know.
I don't even know what team. We just know he's a famous.
It's green. It's a green team. I know. We could look it up afterwards. So obviously celebrities have not a hold, but well, maybe, but have influenced us. Strong, independent women.
That's right.
But what about how do we navigate celebrities, influencers as moms for our kids? Because it's so much more, we've talked about this probably every podcast, how prevalent social media is and TikToks and all that stuff are on our kids.
All the things.
And
all the things. I think one thing is that kind of helping our kids become aware of influencers or what it is, or even what they do or don't do. Do they get paid? How they get paid? I think, unboxing. Have you heard of this? Like unboxing toys? It's huge.
Yes.
Like it's like this whole rise of unboxing culture. Like unboxing is a big deal. And for some of you who don't know, which I'm sure everybody does know, it's where, and this can be done with a kid influencer, or sometimes they'll have you'll just see the adult's hands as the adult, like the hands, which sounds creepy, but it's not when you're actually watching it. And they literally open up
I look at my hands. They're too short to be a hand model for unboxing. If I had longer fingers, I could be a hand model for unboxing. Sorry, go ahead.
Andy is not a hand unboxing model. Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Kid size.
Okay. Well, then maybe you could. You could be the kid influencer hand boxing model.
They think
you
I'm
could.
a kid.
You could. There's potential there for Andie right now. We're coming up with new jobs for her. But this is where the child or the adult or whatever, they unwrap the toy out of the packaging, and then they just talk about it. They're all excited and look at this is so cool. And if they are showing the entire child, the child gets excited and talks about each part that they're opening and what's going on, and how the toy works or things that it can or cannot do, and it's this whole exciting moment. Okay, now for children watching that, they think this is authentic and real, and the child is excited. And then once even the video is off or things are done recording, the child's going to continue to play with that toy. That's not necessarily how it works, because technically you could even say this is an advertisement for that specific toy brand. And so a lot of times, you could say sometimes, but it is a lot of times, literally it's okay, they unbox that toy. Okay, push everything to the side, and now they're going to unbox another toy. And it's the child is working all day long unboxing toys and just kind of going through the motions of it. And the child is literally acting. I'm sure most of them are excited and happy about it, but they don't even get the opportunity to continue to play with it, because it's okay, next scene, almost next scene. And so I think part of this is explaining to kids how this works. to our own children.
Mm.
Because all they're seeing is like a kid being super excited, surprised about a toy. And guess what our kids want?
That toy. It's genius marketing.
It really is.
It's like, it's amazing to me though, because I heard about this several years ago and I was like, what are you talking about? And yeah, they described what you said and kids love it. Like they could watch it forever. And like I was with my friends when their kids would get screen time and their screen time was spent on watching people play with toys, unboxing and playing with toys. And I guess as a grown middle-aged woman, I was like, that's not that interesting to me. Like, that's interesting. But also on the other, like, as you get a little older, the boys especially, and girls too, but love watching people play video games. There's a whole influencing culture for video games and just watching them. And I remember being a kid and we had Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, original Mario Brothers. And I wasn't great at it, but my brother was really good. And I would love to just watch him play. And I would, like cheer him on, tell him what to do, even though I was wrong. But I could, or go to my friend's house and we'd play video games, our Nintendos. And yeah, it was just fun. But now all ages, just watch people play video games, Minecraft, Roblox. It's like a whole thing.
It's funny you're saying this because I remember I never played video games. Like I didn't grow up playing video games. So anytime I'd go to a friend's house and try to play video games, like my turn was always super, super short because I would like die right away because I was horrible at it because I didn't practice. I didn't have video games. But I remember just being so bored. Like I'd get a super short turn and then my friend would get like a super long turn. I'm just like sitting there watching it like, okay, this is boring because I'm not part of the process. Like I'm not participating and I'm just watching it. But there is something now where kids do. They enjoy watching other people play those video games or unwrap these toys. Now there's some like my kids used to like where with the packaging, like they would like tear it open and you could like hear the crackling sound. And to us parents, we might be like, oh, it's that crackling sound. But kids like love hearing that like crackling sound. Now it's amazing how well and how good these people do unboxing these toys. Cause I'm going to be honest with you. Have you tried to like, take out a toy out of all the plastic? You're like scissors and pulling impossible. And there's this and there's that.
I'm stabbing things. I'm cutting myself. There's blood.
It takes us forever. So you can even tell some of it's not even the true unboxing because really it's hard to get some of those toys out of packaging. It's like, oh, look, it just opened. Sure. The packaging just opened. It's like, that's not real life, people. But it is so fun and it is fascinating. And it's kind of that idea of like, well, it's not bad content. Like nothing's dangerous about it. I know some of them, depending on like the age, you kind of have to be careful of what they are unwrapping or what the people are saying. My kids were watching this one girl and she would talk about little video clips that were on YouTube. It was really funny. It was like her interpretation of what other people had posted and it was fine. And then all of a sudden I was listening and she started cussing. I was like, oh, and it's not like the bad cuss words, but it was cuss words like, no, we don't need to have that. So my kids couldn't watch it anymore. Well, guess what? I guess a whole bunch of parents did that. And so now she's back, but she's not cussing anymore. And it's like, okay, but it's just being aware of what they're saying as they are unwrapping that item or unboxing that toy or what they're saying as they're playing those video games or what is the video game that they're all playing? Because some of them can be pretty graphic. Some of those video games.
Yeah. Well, and there's like horror ones that I know from young adult men who like, they love playing these like scary, like horror video games and they'll watch people play them as adults. Cause I guess it's like, it's like watching a horror movie almost. So yeah. And we've talked about Five Nights at Freddy, which is like a scary video game, but yeah, there's so much out there that our kids have access to at all times. And I know we've already talked about social media, but now we're really talking about what happens with influencers and celebrities, how it affects our kids and how we can talk to them about it. Even going back to when my oldest, Daisy, was little, she was probably like 11. Oh, no, we'll go back. We're going to go back even further to with her sister. Okay, there's the Spears girls. I have stories about the Spears girls, Britney and Jamie Lynn.
I love Britney Spears. Spears. That was like I was in high school with Britney Spears.
That was your
Yes,
time.
Which, okay, before you tell your story, they just showed a picture of Britney
Okay.
Spears. She's like on vacation somewhere. Literally, she was rocking the mom bun. And I was so excited. I was like, work it, girl. Like she's in a super cute bikini. And
Get
I
that
was like, you know
mom
what? I feel seen. That even Britney Spears will rock a messy bun. I was so excited. All these years later. Anyway,
Aw.
okay.
And low rise. I'm sure she wears low rise
I
jeans
don't even think
still.
she ever gave it up.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't think she did. Anyway, when she was like young, my daughter was probably like 3 or 4, and it was all controversial because she went on some award show wearing like performing in like a nude one piece with sparkles, and she looked naked, but she wasn't naked, but she looked naked. And I remember it caused an uproar among moms in the church. It was an uproar. And I remember my daughter Daisy being this little girl, maybe she was 5, I don't know. She was little. Anyway, she was like, Mom, I like Britney Spears. And I'm like, no, you can't. She's a nudie. Like, I called her a nudie.
A nudie?
A nudie. I freaked out. I was like 24 myself, 25.
Wait, is that what you call
I
people?
panicked.
Don't look at them. They're
I will see. It's not.
Where did the term come from?
Not now. I don't know. It came out of panic and anxiety. I said nudie. Like, it just scared me. It was like my first, like, oh my goodness, the celebrity's influencing my daughter. But all I know is she dances naked on the stages and she's 3 and 4.
Britney Spears is
so
not
that
3
was
or
the
4.
wrong
Your
way.
daughter was 3 or 4.
No, my daughter. Yes, let's make sure we have that accurate. Yeah, so that was, I'm not proud of that moment. It's a funny moment. I'll bring it up to my kids. I'm like, remember when I told you that Britney Spears is a nudie? Remember how scared I was that you'd all of a sudden like try to dance in a nude suit?
Was that the one with all the sparkles? Like all the diamonds?
Yes.
I remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
On this side of it, it was like, that was so cool. That was so beautiful. That was amazing.
Well, when you're a mom and your 3 and 4-year-old's like, I love her. You're like, no, she's naked. You can't like her. She's naked.
Wait,
And
here at the
then-
beach,
What?
when Daisy would see like people in like skimpy bikinis, would she yell out, "You're a nudie!"
No, I would. You're a nudie.
Is this the term
Put your
that you
clothes
continue
on.
to use? Like you continue to use the term.
I did not. It's hard to say. It was over 20 years ago, but it was used probably more than once. I probably was like, oh, that works. Okay, they're nudies. The naked people are nudies.
All right. Do you remember when Britney Spears came out at that awards ceremony with like the snake, the python around her? And she came out on stage in this like amazing outfit with the python, and she was like carrying it while she was singing. This like defined my generation. Like this was so huge.
So years later, like 8 years, 7, 8 years later, her sister Jamie Lynn is on Zoe 101, this cute little preteen show, and Daisy loved it. And I want to say it was on Disney or Nickelodeon. Anyway, Daisy is watching it, and then all of a sudden, Jamie Lynn had to leave the show because she was pregnant. And it all came out, and Daisy heard about it, but we hadn't really had the talk at that point or really talked about it. And so I remember being like, oh, we need to have a discussion about this, because she heard the news, why she was leaving. She was hearing her friends talk about it. And it was that chance to be like, okay, so do you know how she got pregnant? Do you know what this means? And we had to have a conversation. So yeah, it affects all of us. It affects our kids. And it's good to be prepared with how to talk about it with our kids as things that their influencers have done. Sometimes they do good things and sometimes they do really bad things. And there's so many of them, and we can watch them all day long. Millions and millions of eyes like are on people now, on these influencers, more than celebrities. Like kids celebrities, you know, they had a lot of issues with fame, like a lot of them struggled. But now we have kid influencers who now have 24 hours, millions of people watching them at all times. So, which I guess 24 hours is the same thing at all times. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's even more. Like, everything is like up a notch, 10 notches from when we were kids, or when I was dealing with my kids with celebrities and influencer culture when they were younger.
So this is like uncharted territory because we've grown up in the past with like child stars, right? And child celebrities, but there's all these like rules and regulations and laws that are set in place to like protect children when they are acting and they are pretending to be someone else for a movie or for a TV show. But this is the first time like this generation that's growing up where literally their real life is the content and there's not many if any like rules and regulations and laws protecting them. So are they working 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, and they're only 4 years old? I mean, there's all these questions that now are being asked, and they're trying to now bring in a lot more regulation because they're creating content, but are they pretending and acting like someone else while they're also pretending to be themselves? Or is that truly how they are? Brooklyn had mentioned, because the kids used to like to watch this show, and it was like these sisters, and it was super cute and really fun, and their mom would be in the video sometimes and their dad, and it was just like fun, cute little stuff. And then the show stopped, and I was asking like, well, what happened there? Why did that show stop? Because it was pretty popular for a while. And Brooklyn said that the girl, as the older daughter was growing up, well, she started to get made fun of at school because on the show, she literally had to act like she was younger in the sense of like, oh, look at this toy. And she had to be
Oh.
excited about this toy that was a Barbie. Well, she was 13. She genuinely was not excited, but for the show, she had to act excited about the Barbie. Or, oh, as a family, we're all going to go to this activity. Well, it was an activity she didn't want to do because she was too old for it. But for the show, because she looked younger and then their audience was younger, so she had to play as if she was younger. Like everybody knew her age, but how she had to act was that of someone a few years younger than her. And so finally when she got into high school, pretty much she's like, I'm done. Like I can't keep acting like a little kid and being excited about a pink bike that has like, you know, those little like spikes on it, little ribbons and pearls and all the like cute like baskets and something that like maybe a 10-year-old would be excited about. She's like at age 14, when I'm trying to like figure out high school, I can't act like a, 12 or 10-year-old. And so they ended up like stopping that show. And I think they did other avenues instead. But it's really, this is the first generation kind of growing up with cameras in their own homes. Like you're saying, it could be, many hours a day, multiple days a week. And then there's also this other idea of like, well, where does the money go? In the sense of like, because I was
Yeah.
like watching some of these influencers and the parents, they have little kids that they're recording. And again, it's that idea of like, well, if you're recording a baby or a toddler or a young child, like they don't actually have the right to consent. So parents are technically like filming their
Mm.
children without their children even knowing, especially if it's a baby. And then they're asking like, okay, well, once like all this money that you're making, because you can make a lot of money putting this content, on YouTube or
Yeah.
TikTok or whatever. And some of the parents were like, oh, we've set up a trust fund, or oh, all this money like goes towards our children in the future. We're putting in college funds and this and that. But there were some parents who were like, well, we're the ones that are recording it. We're the ones producing it. We're the ones posting it. We're doing all this hard work. So a portion of it will go to the kids, but no, we're taking a big chunk of it and we're going to keep most of it. But it was like, but the stars are the children. Like they're kind of like the managers of it, but it's
Sure.
your children that you're recording. So it's kind of this controversial thing where it just, I think, almost like exploded overnight and then just got super popular. And people were like, hey, let's make money off of this. Cause yeah, it's expensive to raise kids right now. And if this helps you with like, it's an
Preach.
income, you get to go on super cool vacations that are free and paid for. And all you have to do is, go to one specific site or hold up a, soda can and you're like, vacation's paid for, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you were saying with that older child playing a younger child, a lot of this, most I would say, to me, influencer based content is not completely real. There is some reality to it, like you have your fitness influencers and this and that, but most of the time it's still staged, it's still produced. These shots are set up, things are supposed to look a certain way because it all really comes down to money, right? And when you're advertising to our kids, they know that if they show these kids a toy, these kids are going to want it. And if it looks like fun, and like you were saying, like they're just unboxing and moving on, but the kids don't realize like it's not, I mean, you'll like that toy for a minute, but it's not going to change your life, you know? Or, you know, you talk about skin influencers. Maybe we should do that next time because we're already out of time.
Yes. Okay. Next episode.
But we have to talk about that.
That's huge right now.
Because just give us a teaser, like, because you have preteens.
In the preteen world.
And teens.
Yes. And the teen world. This is something that was super unexpected that just kind of happened. And all of a sudden, these preteens who maybe used to just want to wash their face now are like experts when it comes to products, and it's based off of what they're seeing on TikTok or YouTube or video clips, or also what their friends are watching and then showing them. But yeah, we'll talk about that next time because you're right, we're out of time for our very first
we're out of time, so
video.
like us, share us. We're mom podcast influencers. I know we look too good to be real, but we are authentic.
I kind of do look fake since
Angie
I'm yellow.
really is that yellow. She's really yellow.
Don't be
All right.
jealous.
Till next time, you guys. Don't be jealous. All right. Bye. All right. That's all we have time for today. We got to wrap it up, unfortunately. But just remember, you might think you're doing just okay, but we think you're doing really great.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you have a great Mother Funny day. Please like and share our podcast.
But please don't tell our moms.